Let's get right into it. Number 8. Blood is blue until it hits oxygen. You've probably heard this one from a well-meaning teacher or someone pointing at the veins on their wrist like a goth PowerPoint. See, your blood's blue until it touches oxygen. Yeah, that's cute. And also completely wrong. Your blood is never blue. Not even when it's low on oxygen. It's always a shade of red, just darker when it's deoxygenated. That deep maroonish red. That's what's coursing through your veins right now. Not sapphire Kool-Aid. So why do your veins look blue under your skin? It's an optical illusion. The way light penetrates your skin, scatters, and reflects back makes veins appear blue to your eyeballs, but the blood inside is still red, just traveling in a dimmer, less oxygen-rich VIP section of your circulatory system. The whole blue blood myth likely got legs from medical diagrams using blue for veins and red for arteries, not because of actual color, but for contrast. And the myth just stuck around like a freeloading roommate who refuses to pay rent. So unless you're a horseshoe crab, which actually does have blue blood thanks to copper-based hemocyanin, your bloodstream isn't starring in a Smurf reboot. Red in, red out. Just different vibes. Number 7. Humans have 5 senses. You've probably heard it since kindergarten. Sight, hearing, touch, taste, smell. The big 5, wrapped up in a neat little package like a sensory starter kit. But guess what? That's just the trailer. The full movie has way more senses. And it gets weird. Science says humans actually have at least 9 to 20 senses, depending on how strict you're being with the definition. Which means your body's basically a Swiss Army knife of detection modes. And your 3rd grade health class lied to you. Let's take a tour, shall we? Proprioception is your sense of body position, like how you can touch your nose with your eyes closed or know where your limbs are without looking like a confused marionette. Then there's equilibrioception, your sense of balance. That's your inner ear whispering, don't fall, every time you stand on one foot. Thermoception lets you feel temperature. Nociception handles pain. Chronoception is your weird, vague awareness of time passing. Although, let's be honest, that one totally breaks down during Netflix binges and awkward elevator rides. Some researchers even count things like hunger, thirst, and bladder fullness as separate senses, because yes, your body is constantly screaming, hey, feed me, water me, release me. And don't even get started on magnetoreception, the theory that humans might have some tiny ability to sense the Earth's magnetic field. We're not pigeons, but still. Spooky. So yeah, if you're still out here quoting the 5 senses, you're missing about a dozen internal sirens your body's been blaring non-stop. The good news? Most of them don't require flashcards or mnemonic devices, just occasional snacks and the urge to not fall downstairs. Your body, more complicated than a group text, and somehow still mostly functioning. Number 6. Goldfish have 3-second memories. Poor goldfish, they've been slandered for years as the ultimate dumb pet, swimming in circles, forgetting everything every 3 seconds like the aquatic version of Dory with a head injury. But the truth? Goldfish are shockingly smart. Studies have shown that goldfish can remember things for months. They can recognize human faces, be trained to respond to cues, solve simple puzzles, and even tell time in their own fishy way. They're basically tiny, wet Pavlovian geniuses, just severely underestimated because of their blank stares and relentless bubbling. That 3-second memory myth? Total nonsense. It was likely invented to make people feel better about stuffing goldfish into tiny bowls with plastic castles and no stimulation. Don't worry, he won't remember the existential horror in 3 seconds. But goldfish have brains, and they use them. In one study, they were trained to press a lever to get food at certain times of day. In another, they learned to navigate mazes. So unless you're capable of doing fish maze time trials, maybe don't judge. So go ahead, talk to your goldfish, name them something majestic they'll probably remember, and also silently judge you for watching reality TV in your pajamas, because yes, your pet fish might be smarter than your diet plan. Number 5, you swallow 8 spiders a year in your sleep. Let's go ahead and squish this myth right now. You do not in fact swallow 8 spiders a year while you sleep. You probably don't swallow any. Ever, unless you're doing something very weird in your dreams or camping with your mouth open in spider country. This fake fact has been crawling through the internet for decades, but it's based on absolutely nothing. No science, no real study, not even a well-documented prank. It's just one of those urban legends that sticks because it's gross and just plausible enough to make your skin crawl. But here's the reality, spiders don't want to crawl into your mouth. Your mouth is warm, wet, and full of horrible sounds and vibrations. Basically a haunted house for any sensible arachnid. Plus, you move a lot in your sleep. You breathe, you snore. your tongue flops around. It's not exactly inviting real estate for an 8-legged squatter. The likely origin of this myth? A 1990s article trying to prove how gullible people are about internet facts. Ironically, that article's fake example became one of the most widely believed fake facts in history. Congratulations, humanity, you played yourself. So unless you're actively luring spiders into your mouth with peanut butter while sleeping with your jaw unhinged, you're safe. Still gonna check under your pillow tonight though, just in case, because creepy, irrational fear is stronger than truth every time. Number 4. Cracking your knuckles causes arthritis. Cue the collective gasp of every worried grandma on earth, because according to generations of concerned relatives, cracking your knuckles is basically a one-way ticket to a lifetime of arthritic doom. Except it's not. Let's break this one, gently. Cracking your knuckles does not cause arthritis. Never has. Multiple scientific studies have looked into it, and the result is always the same. No link. Zero. Nada. You can crack away like a popcorn machine, and your joints won't suddenly betray you. So what is that sound? It's not your bones grinding, despite how horrifying it sounds. That little pop is caused by gas bubbles in the synovial fluid between your joints. When you stretch or bend your fingers a certain way, pressure changes cause a bubble to collapse and snap. Your hand just screamed, "I'm alive!" Some scientists call this cavitation, which sounds like a sinister dental procedure, but is really just your joints doing sciencey farts in a vacuum. Now, if you're aggressively cracking to the point of pain or inflammation, okay, then you're just showing off and might actually irritate your joints or tendons. But as for arthritis, that's more about inflammation, genetics, wear and tear, not your stress-relieving finger fireworks. Fun fact, one doctor famously cracked the knuckles of only one hand for 60 years to test the theory. No difference, no arthritis, just one very dedicated and very clicky-ass man. So go ahead, crack away. It's not rude, it's just you bullying air pockets in your fingers. Number 3, sugar makes kids hyper brace yourself. Sugar rushes are fake. That's right, your child bouncing off the walls after birthday cake isn't high on frosting. They're high on being alive in a room full of balloons, noise, and peer pressure. Study after study has tested this, and the results are boringly consistent. Sugar does not cause hyperactivity. Not in kids, not in adults. Not even if they double fist gummy worms and soda like tiny Wall Street traders. So what's happening? It's all about expectation and environment. If you give a kid sugar in a fun setting, say a party with 30 other chaos goblins, of course they're going to act like gremlins. Parents see the chaos, connect the dots, and blame the sugar. But it's like blaming the candles for the fire when the whole house was already made of dry leaves and bad decisions. Even better, in some studies, when parents think their kid had sugar but actually didn't, they still rate their behavior as more hyper. That's how strong the placebo effect is. Sugar's not the problem, humans are. Now, does that mean sugar's innocent? Number. It's still bad for your teeth, your pancreas, and your ability to say no to donuts. But if your kid's acting like a caffeinated raccoon, the cupcakes probably aren't to blame. So next time someone blames a meltdown on sugar, feel free to whisper, "That's not how glucose works," and walk away smugly. Number 2, shaving makes hair grow thicker. Ah yes, the legendary fear that shaving your legs will turn them into tree trunks, or that one quick razor pass will awaken your inner werewolf. Spoiler, it won't. This myth survives because it feels true. When you shave hair, it comes back blunter, darker looking, and pokier. That's because shaving slices hair off at the surface, leaving a blunt tip instead of the natural tapered one. It's like cutting a flower stem flat instead of diagonally. It doesn't change how fast it grows, it just feels stabby. But the hair isn't growing faster, it's not getting thicker. You haven't activated a follicular rage mode. In fact, the growth rate and thickness are entirely determined by genetics and hormones, not whether you took a razor to it. The myth also persists thanks to puberty, where teens shave for the first time and surprise, their body hair gets darker and coarser anyway. Not because of shaving, but because puberty's in full let's ruin everything mode. Dermatologists have confirmed it over and over. Shaving does not affect hair growth rate, color, or thickness. But try telling that to the part of your brain that swears your mustache doubled in size overnight after one rogue pass with a Bic. So go ahead and shave. Or don't. Your follicles don't care. They're just little keratin factories doing their thing, indifferent, emotionless, and thoroughly unimpressed by your bathroom routine. Number 1, you only use 10% of your brain. If this were true, your brain would be the laziest tenant in your body, just hanging out, doing crossword puzzles in one corner while the rest gathers dust like a haunted attic. But surprise, this fact is about as real as a unicorn's dental plan. The 10% myth is one of those fake smart ideas that sounds sciencey enough to survive decades of being wrong. It's been in motivational speeches, Hollywood movies, Hi Lucy, and even educational posters from back when people thought Pluto was still in the club. But your brain? It's always active. Even when you're sleeping, or bored, or watching reality TV with your last 3 brain cells, stuff's happening. Imaging technology like fMRI scans shows that virtually every region of the brain lights up at some point depending on what you're doing. Sensory areas, motor areas, emotion centers, they all take turns like a chaotic, extremely caffeinated orchestra. The origin of the myth? Probably a misunderstanding of neurological studies in the early 1900s. Someone said, "We don't fully understand what 90% of the brain does," and the world collectively heard, "Cool, guess we don't use that part." So no, you're not secretly Einstein with a locked vault of untapped brain power. You're using your whole soggy pink noodle just to survive grocery shopping, remember your passwords, and resist texting your ex. That's a full-time job. Basically, your brain is working overtime, and the fact that it still lets you believe this myth proves it has a great sense of irony. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.